from another school. Damon had been the only one to stand up for him.
It's not working. And my show just started.
I'll send you money remitly so you can get a new TV. You won't miss the next one.
Ay, niña, qué dulce. You don't have to do that.
You've had that thing forever. It's una reliquia. Plus, I'll be able to enjoy it when I go visit you.
Jeez.
Remitly helps you be there even when you can't.
Stop scrolling, I found the list. Ever wonder what songs everyone in Ontario is talking about right now? Here's what everyone's playing. Cash Eruption, Gates of Olympus 1000, Sweet Bonanza 1000, 12 Masks of Fire Drums, Sevens Wild, Chinchi Bouchi Endless Treasure, Gold Blitz Ultimate, Cleopatra, Blazing Bison Gold Blitz Extreme, Lighting Box Canal. They're all on Betty.ca, which is Ontario regulated and built just for slot lovers. Super easy to start, just a $1 minimum deposit, and if you win, you can cash out instantly. Like, no waiting. Over 2,800 games, all about the fun and made for players in Ontario. Try Betty.ca, click the link below.
in Canada. We bought this extendable double bed just for $150, this beautiful painting for $30, and this chic night lamp just for $20. All of this through the Carrot app. Carrot is a community-driven app where you can buy and sell
5 ways to use the most unexpected card combos. First, the log. Rolling in style, flattening an entire skeleton army like pancakes on Sunday. Second, Ice Wizard brings the chill. Slow them down, let the tower finish the job. Icy perfection. Third, Inferno Tower. Cooking your enemies well done. Did someone order extra crispy? Fourth, Electro Wizard delivers a shocking halt. Enemies stunned and stopped right in their tracks. And fifth, combine these unexpected fighters for pure, unstoppable mastery.
Especially a school like theirs. Bridgerton High School.
Every morning, Bonnie's body was shaking, and it was for more reasons than one. The reporter herself wasn't sure if it was due to fear or the excitement of a good story. When looking around as well, she still didn't know what was causing the two different emotions in her. Looking around, the room was filled with all sorts of creatures, but her mind was racing, thinking about what they might be planning to do with them after the information she had just been told, rather than seeing what was actually in front of her. Boyd had seen this look on Bonnie many times. It was one of her charms, but also at times it would allow the two of them to face unpredictable dangers. "I told you I was right," Bonnie whispered, elbowing Boyd in his side. However, her friend seemed far too distracted to reply. He held the camera firmly in his hand, and he seemed to be mouthing words, or repeating them over and over. "You're just filming a movie. That's all that this is. You're just filming a movie," Boyd kept reminding himself as he captured everything in there on film. Still, Bonnie wouldn't let her partner get her down. It seemed like her instincts were right, and something big was about to happen. Of course, they couldn't tell them about the attack beforehand, just in case it leaked out. "There are so many different-looking creatures here," Bonnie exclaimed. The creatures, or vampire subclasses, had been kept behind reinforced glass, somewhat similar to what was used at the event. The glass divided the different areas that would have the different dangerous subclasses in them. In a way, it felt somewhat similar to visiting a zoo on Earth, only that everything inside could and was dying to kill you. Most of the compartments the creatures were stored in were the same, just a piece of land with a few trees here and there. But there were also a few that were quite different. They had cave-like designs or even some large bodies of water. Apparently some subclasses required a more unique environment. "Indeed," Sunny nodded, "and we will be using all of them to help us in this upcoming fight." The first container they walked up to, Bonnie could see tall, skinny creatures. Their skin was pale, almost gray in color. Their eyes were sunken in and all of them were bald. They lacked any muscle on their bodies, giving them quite the skeleton-like figure, but what looked horrifying was their eyes that were just a shade of white. "Wendigos," Sunny answered, even though no one had asked, at least not yet. "These creatures have incredible regeneration capabilities, and despite their looks, they have enough strength to back it up as well. These are the most common type, and will make up the bulk of our army." When looking at how large the facility was, and how many subclasses there were, Bonnie estimated there to be around 10,000 creatures in total in a place like this. Sure, it was nothing compared to the human population, but against the Dalki, they needed strength more more confident that there wouldn't be a breakout. That's when he spotted something resembling a goat with a large horse-like head. So far, it was the most normal of the creatures he had seen. For this one, he had gotten quite close to the glass, trying to capture their every detail. When getting closer, it opened its mouth and its tongue lashed out, hitting the glass. It spread out like an octopus body and started pulsating. You're lucky the glass is there. That's a sick bin. Just like most other creatures, it feeds off of blood, but it can actually absorb your blood even through the glass. So I would be careful, Sonny warned. The tour continued with Sonny explaining all the dangerous subclasses for a total of 15 different kinds. None of them were normal, and the things they would do would give children nightmares for months. When the tour ended, it looked like Sonny's two assistants had gone off to do some work, and they could hear the sound of spaceships starting on the outside. You two came here via your own spaceship, correct? Just like the time before, it would be best if you filmed this fight from above. As I said, I can't control them when humans are around. Naturally, I hope you can cut these details from your report. We don't want to scare the humans, Sonny requested. We understand, Bonnie nodded, waiting for more to be said, but the only thing that followed was an awkward silence between the two. You two should start moving now, because in a second, all of these creatures will be released. That was my signal to tell you we are going into battle now, and it would be good if you could start filming from this point onwards as well, Sonny smiled. She didn't have to say it twice. Both Bonnie and Boyd started running, heading out of the facility, but the smile couldn't stop showing on Bonnie's face. The Dalki, they won't know what's coming to hit them, Bonnie thought.
Dear listener, the upcoming episode will be today's last free episode of this story. Come back tomorrow to enjoy free episodes, or get coins now to continue listening.
After the Dalki attack in the Beast solar system, each of the three groups had decided to concentrate their forces onto 3 planets. They mainly moved using the active teleporters stationed at each shelter. Something that the Dalki were unaware of was the fact that their jammers no longer had any effect, thanks to a particular member of the Green family. This move had saved many lives, and even forced the Dalki to stop attacks. However, it seemed like the Dalki were now playing a waiting game. There was a mothership on each planet alongside a fortress, with enough numbers to protect the planet from being taken over again. At least they would be able to hold off until reinforcements arrived. As time passed, eventually, the resources needed for war, the crystals, would reduce, and the Dalki could then make their move. This was one of the reasons why the Dalki had yet to attack. One of the theories, at least. Another guess among those in the cursed faction was that the former might be planning something big. For now, the Dalki now had half of the Demon Tier Dragon, which would be a huge boost to their already overpowering strength. Even the planets where Quinn had destroyed a mothership were eventually reclaimed, leaving each group with only 3 of the planets. All the teleporters on the Beast planets are destroyed, so that's why we need to travel by ship. Honestly, I'm quite surprised that Dalki didn't retaliate to Quinn's little stunt on the Daisy planet, Bonnie said, gazing out of the window as usual. They were flying towards one of the Beast planets, but it was more nerve-wracking this time, since they were heading straight into enemy territory. Just like last time, Bonnie and Boyd were in their own ship. It was fast, agile, and small, exactly how they wanted it to be. Although it had no weapons or defenses on board, it was a small target to hit compared to the other ships with them this time. For one, there was a large dropship. They were one of the largest ships used in war, and would often carry fleets of mechs, which were predominantly used in the First War. Since abilities at the time hadn't developed up to the current level, mechs were the most promising thing they had against the Dalki. Bonnie knew what exactly was inside the place. Hello everyone, you are now watching Bonnie and Boyd's live stream. Today, the Cursed Faction has invited us to show you something spectacular once again. As you all know, Quinn had announced that those that we know as V, the vampires, have teamed up with the human forces, and today is the day. The live stream had started as soon as they had approached the planet, with around a 2-minute live delay. What is this? Is it a planned attack? One of the users commented on the live stream. Another stunt from the Cursed Faction. You know this is all fake, right? How else can they perfectly time things? I bet they're working with the Dalki or something. Fake? This is a live stream, and all the other groups confirm it's happening. I've even talked to some of those in the Daisy rescued. How can you say it's fake? See the guy above me? He's another person that's just been paid, or is a bot. Don't believe them. The reason for the delay, though, wasn't for the public or to censor what might happen. Rather, it was because they knew that the other side would be watching as well. At the moment, Graham was in his lab, a place he hadn't come back to too often these days, and he had just received a signal that a certain live stream was starting. Once he found out what was happening, rather than panicking, he smiled. So, you finally make your move. Did we take too long? Graham had an amused expression. The dropship hovered above the shelter, which was mostly destroyed, like when the Dalki had taken over the Daisy faction. There was a group of around 200 Dalki present at the scene, but the mothership, or the Dalki fortress, was not here. Still, it was perfect for displaying just how strong the attacking force would be. The hatch underneath the ship was open, while still hanging in the air, and then heavy metallic crates were dropped from the sky. As they fell from the sky and crashed on the shelter, their sheer weight had crushed or flattened whatever was left of the shelter. A one-spiked Dalki had even jumped, attempting to punch the crate, but it did nothing to stray its course. It even crushed the ladder's body underneath as it crashed on the ground. Those crates look strong. I wonder what material they are made of. According to the Cursed faction, the vampires have discovered many materials and elements that we have yet to discover, and I'm guessing that these crates are one of them, Bonnie reported. As expected, though, Void started to move the drones and their small ship into position to get a clear view, because they knew exactly what was coming out of those crates. 15 black crates in total, and inside them were 15 different subclasses. Steam escaped from the black crates as the doors slowly opened. As a small gap formed, a creature's hand slammed out and scratched the crates. Gradually, its arms, legs, mouths, and whole body moved out. Once there was enough space, the horde of creatures went out in the open. They spread around and ran as fast as they could toward the first thing they saw. From one of the crates, winged creatures stormed out like bats, leaving in groups and heading towards the Dalki, which were on top of buildings. On one of the buildings was a group of 5 Dalki. It looked like they were on top of an apartment-like building. It was at that moment that a group of Striga, the owl-like creature, had caught their eye. Immediately, hundreds of them went storming through the air towards the group. Witnessing this, the group of Dalki wasn't afraid. Before, they had faced hundreds of humans, so why would this be different? As the leader of the flying creatures pounced at them with its mouth open wide, the Dalki threw out a punch, hitting it right in the face. "These are weak," the one who had punched exclaimed. His strength had come through, and the creature's face was crushed, causing it to plummet in an instant. The situation was the same with the others. That was until the other Striga had pierced their fangs onto the Dalki's arms. The other Striga clawed at the Dalki's skin, and there wasn't a spot on their body that wasn't under attack. Their claws and fangs tore through the hard scales on their bodies. The Dalki tried to fight back, ripping the creatures off their bodies and slamming them into the ground, but he and the rest were overwhelmed again after a few seconds. The Striga were just too many. Once they had created an opening in a Dalki's body, they started to feed on their insides. Then finally, their powerful jaws allowed them to feast on their skin as well. After having their feast, the owl-like creatures all stood on top of the building, looking out and searching for their next target. "These are weak, these are weak," a few of them repeated like a parrot, as they mocked the last words of the Dalki they had just feasted on. The cameras had caught all of this. The Dalki, being overwhelmed, gave a different feeling from what they saw Quinn and the vampire leaders. The camera switched to the other creatures. Many were dying, but they were also quickly taking on the Dalki by overwhelming the latter and not caring about themselves. The viewers, once again, were divided. Some were thankful that the vampires had the power to help them in this war and defeat the Dalki, while others thought at what cost. Perhaps they were being saved by creatures far stronger than their understanding. Eventually, all of the Dalki in the shelter were dealt with, and the dangerous subclasses began to look around for more. "I guess it's time for me to make my entrance as well," Sunny said. She jumped down from the large ship and landed directly in the center. This time, she looked different and was covered with top-tier beast gear from head to toe. Most of it was dyed in a white and gold color. This was based on Sam's advice. The dark colors gave off an ominous feeling to the humans. Thus, he wanted the vampire leaders to change their appearance. He felt this was perfect for someone like Sunny, who gave a motherly feeling. Her armor was quite a unit, with broad shoulders. However, she wore a light robe for easy movement while wearing some armor over the top, here and there. All of the creatures turned towards Sunny and inched their way towards her as if they were about to go for her next. But she smiled at them, lifting her hand. "Relax, I'm not your enemy, and we have more to deal with," Sunny asserted. The creatures momentarily stood there and stopped stepping forward as if they were waiting for her next instructions. And all Sunny did was point at the Dalkey mothership. "That is your next target."
Dear listener, now playing the next audio series.
Stop scrolling, I found the list. Ever wonder what not everyone in Ontario is talking about right now? Here's what everyone's playing. Cash Eruption, Gates of Olympus 1000, Sweet Bonanza 1000, 12 Masks of Fire Drums, Sevens Wild, Chinchi Bouchi Endless Treasure, Gold Blitz Ultimate, Cleopatra, Blazing Bison Gold Blitz Extreme, Letting Bucks Count. They're all on Betty.ca, which is Ontario regulated and built just for slot lovers. Super easy to start, just a $1 minimum deposit, and if you win, you can cash out instantly. Like, no waiting. Over 2,800 games, all about the fun and made for players in Ontario. Try Betty.ca, click the link below.